On Previous World Weekly, we're coming to you live from our underground bunker to discuss comics in quarantine and what we're doing to stay entertained inside. Now on Previous World Weekly.
It's still New Comic Book Day in some parts of the world, and welcome to Previews World Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day.
We didn't get the double fingers on that one.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
So, needless to say, look, the entire world is on quarantine. I think at this point, there might be some parts of the world that aren't, but that also means that a lot of comic shops are incapable of selling new comics today. But we felt it was important, not just as Previews World, but also as like a fairly, dare I say, important arm of the world of comics, that we at least present a show to you and talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on in the world of comics, but also a little bit of just how to comics in quarantine together. So we are, I'm going to officially coin this phrase, we are your quarantine. Can we got a little
Quarantine.
graphic going there? Look at that. Okay. And so forgive me because I'm going to be looking over here a few times to just kind of figure out what people are saying, what people are talking about. Um, I actually see already that Rob Collier is asking, all shops near me are now shut down as non-essential. And yes, unfortunately, liquor stores are considered essential
Yeah.
here in Maryland. Gun stores are considered essential here in Maryland. Comic shops are not. So, you know what? You decide. You take care of that. You talk to your governor and you figure out what the issue is with that. But first up, Ashton, you are the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day.
That's
You
me.
hold all the keys to Free Comic Book Day. You have all the answers. Can you tell us what's going on with Free Comic Book Day? Because it was supposed to happen in May, and I saw some news floating around that it was postponed.
Mhm.
What can you tell people?
Mhm. Yeah, so Free Comic Book Day has officially been postponed from its previous May 2nd date. So I want to make it absolutely clear that it is, in fact, postponed to a later date. We've not selected that date at the time. We're eyeing hopefully a late summer date, but it is not canceled. I've seen a lot of concern on Twitter, people tagging me at Free Comic on Twitter asking, is it canceled, expressing their sadness that it's canceled, and it's not. It's postponed. It's happening. The books have already been printed, actually. And they were supposed to ship in the next 2 weeks. So we have the books. We just need a safe date to celebrate, which will not be the entire month of May. That is something else I want to say. There was a previous reports misreporting of a free comic case. Either there will be no free comic books in May. It will be at a later date, which makes me sad.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it makes a lot of people sad. I saw quite a few sad face emojis on my feed, on the previous world feed when that announcement came down. And so, hey, we're there with you guys. It sucks. I mean, like, this is an inconvenience for all of us, but we have a responsibility as inhabitants of the planet Earth and as humans to get through this together, to be safe, not for just for ourselves, but for each other. So actually, speaking of which, I just want to point out that yes, distribution will be on pause, and therefore there will be no new comic books for the foreseeable future. Of course, we are Previous World, and we represent Diamond Comics, or we are a representative of Diamond Comics distribution. But for the safety of our employees, for the safety of comic shops, for the safety of our consumers, yes, distribution is on pause for the time being. We have a great leadership team. They are working to get things back to normal once this pandemic is under control, but it is a necessary evil. And hopefully that gives you guys some sort of answers in terms of what's going on with New Comic Book Day. I want to point out that yes, your local comic shop, depending on where you are in the world, will indeed be open. So definitely keep that in mind if they are open. then be sure to contact them to find out if they have curbside delivery or just delivery in general, curbside service as well. Um, Also, I want to point out that the April previews did come out today. Uh, I know that's weird, right? But it was already going to ship out. Whoop whoop, exactly. Uh, I raised the roof there. Sorry about that. Yeah, like the April previews is
I
out. You
appreciated it.
can place. No, I appreciate the whoop whoop. I like it. Next thing we're gonna get a vuvuzela. That'll be the next thing we do. Um, so yeah, you can place pre-orders, but it's possible. I'd say it's more than likely the shipping dates that you see inside the catalog will be pushed back. The June dates that are currently solicited in this catalog will be adjusted. So just keep track of previewsworld.com/catalog because you'll probably see a date adjustments on there, but also keep in the loop with your local comic shop, not just to find out when you can get it, but how you can get your comic books. Um, and I guess that's kind of like the rundown for today. I actually have a copy of the catalog, and yes, I someone
Oh,
pointed
aren't
out
we
this says it says you
fancy?
look like. I know, right? I actually swiped this before we were told to go home. But yeah, someone pointed out that the cover is a little morbid because it says you look like death on one side, and it says deceased dead planet on the other side.
Mm.
Look, we didn't know this was going to happen. We didn't know this was going to happen to the world, guys. I'm sorry, but you know what? I mentioned this earlier. Comic books have fiction in general has been warning us of has been preparing us for all sorts of inevitable dystopian futures, and hopefully this isn't one of them, but we'll see. Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't want to be that type of person
Okay,
because I
with the
think we've
morbid
already made it.
outlook.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that back. Sorry, nerds can be so fatalistic. I've seen our Twitter. Are you seeing this on your Twitter account too? On Free Comic Book Day, just the fatalistic nerds.
Um, Not as much, but yesterday I was asking everyone to tell me what they were reading, so I think I kind of got it. So not recently, but like ordinarily, yes.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a lot of not just yeah, I know one of our coworkers said, we had a good run, but I actually heard that two other times, like not just in our office, but from friends of mine who are also definitely dyed in wool nerds. And it's just like, guys, come on, like what happened to, you know, the heroes that saved the planet? We gotta, band together and get through this together. And like, yeah, don't be a fatalistic nerd, I guess is the point of that statement. Like, let's be positive during this time, guys. So, how
Long story
about I'm looking
short.
at my notes. Long story short, actually, what's going on here in the chat? Actually, Samuel David said he got his April previews yesterday. I think some shops probably wisely allow people to pick up some of the Wednesday comics today. Um, Tony Craig says my LCS is open today, but will have limited hours for 2 weeks, and also will do curbside if you contact them first. So shout out to them. Tony, who is your comic book store? Let us know. Maybe we can give them a shout out right here. Um, So yeah, do you see anything fun on your end
Oh, you know what else I want
on
to
the other
point
on
out?
your end?
Yeah, sorry, I jumped ahead because I got excited. But Coffee Breath commented and said, "Help the LCS out through this if you can buy gift certificates," which is a great kind
Okay.
of roundabout way of doing that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I've seen a lot of people echoing that is like, you know, buy yourself a gift certificate so then when they open back up, you have time to just jump on in and pick up where you left off. Look, I'm lamenting right now. I'm upset because three of my favorite X titles came out this week and I can't get them today. So I get it. I'm right there with you guys. I'm in the
Troy's
struggle.
sad about X-Men
Um,
Prize.
I'm sad. I'm sad about my being deprived of X-Men. Like Giant Size is out this week, X-Men is out this week, and I want the physical copy. I don't want a digital copy. I want a physical copy because I've been collecting these. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens, or maybe I'm gonna have to drive to Delaware, go to a local comic shop. I don't know. Anyway, I know that's probably not going to happen. But anyway, how about what's at comic shops? Speaking of books out this week, Ashton and I are going to share with you guys what we've been quarantining with. Is quarantining a word? Is it a word, Ashton?
It is now.
Okay, there you go. That's all that matters. Yeah, if twerk can be a word, so then quarantine, so can quarantine. So here we go. What's at comic shops? And you know what I neglected to do? I actually forgot to check on the Facebook comments and see what's going on over there. So Ashton, why don't you tell people what you are reading during this time of quarantine? And I'll actually see what people are saying on our live chat here on Facebook while you do that.
Okay, great. I'm very excited. So I've gone for trades as opposed to single issues because you get more out of it, more stories. So
Yeah,
of course, Archie.
respect.
This is Archie Volume 3. I'm working my way through the entire Mark Waid run again because I really, really liked it. And so this one introduces Cheryl in the new run on Archie after they relaunched it. So this introduces Cheryl. It also introduces Blossom, who is her twin brother. And I love that because when you meet Jason in Riverdale, he's already dead, so you don't ever get to know that much about him. So it's cool to see his character emerge and kind of get to see him and Cheryl scheme together. So Cheryl is currently feuding with Veronica, and she has just moved to Riverdale, and she's gonna try to date Archie because Archie wants to date everybody, and she just wants to get under Veronica's skin. So that's where we are with that.
That Archie is quite a cad, isn't he? Can't keep in his pants, that Archie.
He is. He's a no, shit's off the rails all the time.
So okay, what else we got here? Actually, I have just real quick. I just saw Diamond Comics distribution. Oh, okay, someone's asking if we're just planning to restart distribution after this. Yeah, I would certainly hope so. Like, I think that just makes sense. That's in our Facebook feed right now. Marique Davis. Okay, here you go. Marique Davis, who's actually been featured on the show before. She says, at least I have a bunch of unread comics I've hoarded over years that I haven't read. Guess it's a good time to hibernate in my room and read. And she says she's currently reading Snow, Glass, Apples by Neil Gaiman. So awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, keep it coming with the comics that you're quarantined with. Keep jumping in the chat. We're going to share them here while we're talking. Ashton, did you have any other books that you wanted to share that you're actively quarantined with that you're reading?
Oh, yes. Oh my God, yes. So I'm also reading Dream Daddy, which I'm so excited about. It's a graphic novel adaptation of a video game.
Yeah.
I love this book.
I'm sorry.
I've never. Why does it give you the giggles?
It's just because after talking to you extensively and Amber and Michelle extensively about this, I know way too much about this, and it is just a very amusing concept.
Okay, so Troy.
Also, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. You tell people.
Well, no, because I'm about to make you put yourself on blast.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you ready? What? Okay, so you daddies you relate to the most, and I'm going to give you just kind of like the background of each. Okay, so this guy's Craig. This is,
all right.
Like fit. This is Robert. He's drunk daddy, but he also hunts cryptids. This is Matt.
Like
he's hipster dad.
Like Bigfoot?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Who else we got? This is Hugo. This is teacher daddy. His son's a hot ass mess. This is, I don't remember his name, but he's like a youth leader, so like secretly a cult leader.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Wow. These occupations are all over the place. Do any of them have an office job?
Nope.
Continue.
And then your last two are like I don't even know what he does. I don't even know if he has a job. It's like dad bod dad. He's also a one-upper. And then this is Damien. He's your gothic Victorian dad.
Victorian dad. Okay. All right. Interesting. This is based off of a video game,
So pick
right?
one, Troy. Who are you? It is, yeah.
Oh, I mean, the one that's
It's based off from
uh
the game Drum.
the one that sound the one that hunts cryptids. Right. The one that hunts cryptids. I'm gonna say that's
Okay.
the one that I guess I would have to be at this point. I just at least it sounds like he goes on fun
Relate
adventures.
to the most.
He's the Indiana Jones of Dream
Right, he
Day.
does.
So I can co-sign that. What else are you sharing? You sharing anything else?
I'm not. I'm also reading Dune. I've been reading Dune for a while, and I know this is
That's
probably like
right.
the third
Yeah.
or fourth time
Yeah.
I've mentioned it on the show. That is a thick book.
That's okay.
So I'm working through that. I'm like
No,
halfway through it at this point.
I mean, look, you're a better nerd than I am because I tried to read Dune and I put it down, but you're fully committed to it. Like you're all in. So I respect that.
I am all in. I feel like I'm at like it. I can get why you put it down because he spends so much of the early portion of the book like world building and developing his characters. Because later on, there's not really enough time to do that, so it's really front loaded with that stuff.
Hmm.
So I can get like that can
Yeah.
be very boring if you're not interested in that. So I can understand why you put that down.
Well, you know what? Actually, real quick, I want to apologize to Marika Davis. It's Marika. She just corrected me in the chat.
Ooh,
I respect that. I like it.
sassy.
Thank you very much, Marika. Actually, you know what? That sounds better. I actually like that. That's a nicer name. So okay, I definitely have a monster stack. I actually have a spinner rack over here of unread books that I need to read, and I will, for the sake of entertainment,
Oh, yikes. Here
I'm
we
gonna drag
go.
this bad boy. Here we go. I'm gonna
Oh my
pull
God,
this
I'm
guy
nervous.
out.
Please don't get hurt.
I'm not. I'm gonna push this back. Just because, hey, this is a visual medium, so let's get visual.
What if it just tips over
So, of
onto
course,
you?
I mean, I think it's good. We're good. Okay, so here we go. All right, ready? I have unfinished copies of Infinity 8 that I need to pick up. I'll get a little closer there. But that's magnetic press for the record. Um, a few, like last year, Jonathan Hickman finally finished Shield. So I decided to restart the entire series over and read it again. So I'm doing that. I'm super behind on Grant Morrison's Green Lantern, but I did pick up the Black Stars miniseries. So I will be getting around to that. As a matter of fact, I think that's what's going to be next. Yeah, there's so much stuff here. Actually, I'm probably not going to go through all of this, but I do want to point out that I'm actively reading Deadly Class, and I'm down to like the most recent 4 issues. I kind of started it over again because there was a lull, and I kind of forgot what was going on in the comic. But let me just say, this is one of the best, like just like character stories. Like the cast of characters are so good and so entertaining, and just so awful at the same time. Like they're the best and worst of everything. And yeah, it's like, I mean, I've done this pitch before. Here, let me get back in camera because I'm sure Johnny's going crazy right now. Why is Troy moving around? Um, but yeah, like I said this before, but like this really is just a great like ensemble of characters. It bleeds of adolescent teenage angst, but at the same time, even though they're assassins and they go for a school to a school for assassins, they are all these emotions are familiar. And I just like my short pitch for this would be, you know, take all those unhinged, like unpredictable teenage emotions, and then give them the ability to kill people, and just watch the series go off the rails. That's a great book. Also, I'm super behind on Jimmy Olsen, but I can't say nearly enough about this book. Like I stopped somewhere at issue 3, and I've been kind of stockpiling. But yeah, Matt Fraction, Steve Lieber. the Jimmy Olsen series. So good. Just a fun Superman book that doesn't really have Superman in it, but at the same time, like, it really does embody all the things I have loved about a Superman comic since day one. Like, it's fun, it's big adventure, like anything can happen. It's just good natured in general. There's about like 4 or 5 stories going on all at the same time, and part of the thrill of reading this book is watching them slowly intersect. Like, there's one story about Jimmy Olsen's great 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 grandfather in Metropolis before Metropolis became Metropolis. There's a murder mystery that's involving Jimmy Olsen. There's a story about Jimmy going to Gotham City. There's also like a this random sci-fi story in the middle. Superman does make frequent appearances here, and yeah, it's just, and like I said, all these stories are going to intersect, and it's 12 issues. If you're not reading it, you should probably read it because it's just like awesome. Lastly, I've not cracked this open, but I'm going to. You see this? You see this, Ashton?
I'm scared for you. What is it?
This is Seven Soldiers by Grant Morrison. And I remember when this book
Oh
came out, I was still
God.
working at the comic book store back in the day. He basically took a bunch of, I won't say defunct, but just kind of unused DC characters and made a super team out of them. But he first gave them each individual miniseries to like kind of zero in on what they're doing. And so, and why they and how they factor into the larger team. This was a labor of love for him, clearly, just judging by the way he talked about it. And I bought this book a long time ago and never read it. So I'm going to use this time to read this. And someone said to me, when I posted this online, I think it was through the Previous World account or my Twitter account. Someone said to me, uh, "So you're going to be locked inside reading Grant Morrison. Good luck to your sanity." So, which I absolutely love. I think that's absolutely hilarious.
Ooh.
Which is also probably true. Yeah. I mean, you know what? He's probably right. I'm probably going to be like, Charlie and It's Always Sunny after a while with like a whole map of like connecting dots for Seven Soldiers. Like, just I'm probably going to be unhinged after reading that. Like, Grant Morrison has a way of reaching deep into your psyche, and some interesting self-discovery comes from his stories, I feel personally. Finally, 2000 AD was nice enough to give me a copy of The Best of 2000 AD. Ashton, what can you tell us about the? Yeah, look at that,
Oh,
right?
he did.
Ashton. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm so
Ashton,
excited.
what can you tell us about Best of 2000 AD? Because that's a free comic book day that's coming. Title that is coming, right?
Yes, it is a free coming, I promise. I actually saw a handful of people upset on Twitter that they weren't going to get specifically that 2000 AD book. It's kind of like a greatest hits book of all of the best Judge Dredd stories and everybody else in that Mega City One universe all mashed together. Stories coming from basically the top stars across the comic book industry. And they
No,
have
awesome.
Al Ewing's that story in there, and Erica Henderson. There, I was reaching for that.
Erica Henderson, yeah. Right. So yeah, like and it's interesting to see what's going to happen when you take the writer of Ultimates and the artist of Squirrel Girl and put them on a 2000 AD book. Like those two
Mhm.
things just sound like it would create a really wild time for people. So yeah, I love it. Um, Carrie's in the chat on Facebook saying like, Troy, you really out here with a spinner rack in your
Oh God.
house.
Yeah, you are
Yeah,
like
you know
you
what,
did the absolute most with that.
Carrie, in case you didn't notice, I am about this life. I just want to be very clear about that. I don't want people running around saying I'm a fake nerd or Ashton's a fake nerd. Like, we are really, truly knee deep in geekery here. So, big ticket items. You ready to talk
No,
about
for
some big
real though,
ticket
because when I
items,
was trying
Ashton?
to when I was trying to dig out that book, I was like, I'm just gonna get out all of my Archie books.
I respect it. I love it. So let's talk about some big ticket items, Ashton. You
But yeah, let's
wanna?
do some
We
big
actually
ticket
didn't
items.
discuss. Yeah, we didn't discuss who's going to talk about what. Was there a particular one you wanted to focus on, or I could do both of them?
Uh, you can take them both home. Because I was under the impression you were based on the email you sent me earlier.
Okay, that's fine. All right. That's okay. We'll do that. I'm prepared. I'm prepared. Big ticket items this week. Killing Red Sonja from Dynamite Comics. That's dropping at your local comic shop again. I just want to reiterate, check with your local comic shop, make sure that they're open, that they are, because every state has a different situation. Here in Maryland, comic shops are closed. But like, yeah, yeah, comic shops are closed. But if your shop is doing curbside or even delivery, which actually might be easier for you as a consumer, definitely check that out. But it's Killing Red Sonja. This story actually spins off of something that's going on in the current Red Sonja titles. So all points have been building up to this exact moment, and now we have a nice little revenge story about the she devil with the sword. So check that out. That's from and that she's not getting revenge. Someone's trying to seek revenge on her, and it might have something to do with this little kid featured at the top of the cover. So check that out. That's Dynamite Comics. Also out this week. It's almost as if Sean Gordon Murphy planned this. I'm just kidding. Batman: Curse of the White Knight, the last issue, drops this week. I know a lot of people love this book. Like, it is, of course, the sequel to Sean Gordon Murphy's previous White Knight book. It is the middle book in what is a proposed trilogy, and actually, it sounds like he might even be spinning this off into a universe. But yeah, basically, it flips the entire Batman universe upside down. It puts Joker in the hero seat. And yeah, it's Sean Gordon Murphy, who's responsible for Chrononauts. He did Tokyo Ghost. He also did just a slew of great stuff. He's a artist's artist, and so definitely check that out. I know a lot of people have been itching to get that last issue, so I'm sorry if you can't get it from your local comic shop today, but hopefully you can get a hold of it, and hopefully no one will spoil it for you before the end of the day. So I certainly will not. I'm not going to tell you anything that goes on in it, mostly because I didn't read it because I can't read it. Um, so yeah, that's what's at comic shops. Ashton, you wanna contribute anything else to this last bit before we move on to the next segment?
Yeah, I actually just made me think of something. If you can't get any of these books, start a running list of things you're interested in getting your hands on. That way, when you can get back to your comic shop, you already know what you want to ask them for.
Yep. And actually, I will co-sign that. If you want to have a running list, maybe you should use Previews World Pull Box. Just saying. Let your local comic
Ooh,
shop know
that
that you want to
plug.
be. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Uh, yeah, let your local comic shop know. Like, it's both of us out of control. Um, yeah, let your local comic shop know that yes, you do indeed want to get signed up for Pullbox. Hopefully, they already signed up for Pullbox, and therefore your local comic shop can invite you if they are. And if they aren't, tell them they should be, because this is probably the best time, if any, to utilize that application because it'll help you keep track of all the books that were supposed to come out and should be coming out, just in case you missed them during this quarantine. And how about a trailer? One of the books coming out this week is actually a trade paperback collection of the series Once and Future. This is by Kieran Gillen and Dan Mora. Gillen is a fan favorite writer. He did Die. Personally, he did a run on the X Men that I always loved, and he also did a Sword book, which was also kind of an X Men title that I always thought was great. That's underrated. And it's actually somewhere over here. I won't try to find it, but yeah, like so check this out. This is the trailer for Once and Future from Boom Studios, which is in comic shops today. All right, cool, cool. I was actually momentarily admiring my spinner rack. This is a pride and joy. Like I actually this was a good haul. I ain't gonna lie. Anyway, sorry, trying to get my nerd cred up. So yeah, that was a trailer for Once and Future. The trade paperback is indeed out this week. Ashton, what are you seeing over in the live chat on your end? What are people saying? Anything that we can say out loud?
Tony Craig actually said that he's excited for that 2000 AD book, which he should be. Get excited for that. And Anthony Lawrence just commented that he loves Once and Future, which has been out for a while, and it's gotten a lot of love kind of across the board. People are really excited about it, so maybe jump on that train.
Okay. All right, nice. Over here on Facebook, Ilya Schroeder, first of all, says I'm here, but then Ilya also follows up with Superman is life. And you know what, Ilya? I'm going to co-sign that. Yes, I am. Superman is the man. I've been doing. Look at that. Look how big that. Look, that's amazing. I love that. I got a lot of Superman.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the reasons I was right, the absolute Superman. Come on, ask about me, kids. I'm just saying, I'm about this life. Anyway.
Wait, hold on, Troy. Hold on. I have a question.
What's up? What's up?
If Superman is life, and if you love Superman that much, why did you pick Thor to beat him?
Okay. Just to be clear, we're getting some interference here. We're getting some noise. All right, so look. First of all, we all know that I'm a Marvel shill.
I have a serious problem with the fact that you picked Thor.
I love how Johnny just threw in the bump just because this wasn't even a planned segment, but now it is. Look, you know I'm a Marvel shill. First of all, you know I am. Like on top of that, like look, Superman's susceptible to magic. You guys keep trying to downplay this, but Thor is magic, and I refuse to believe anything else. I don't care what the movies say about magic versus science. Like Thor is magic. He's always been magic, which means that Thor is going to give Superman a run for his money. He's also a god. He's the god of thunder. And also, I want to point out that Superman, in this no less, Superman had a hard time with Shazam and his thunder. All right, so I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. Superman is not just going to walk into Asgard and just start taking heads off. That's not how this is going to work. All right. Yes, you got your hand up. You in the front. Yes.
Patiently waiting for my turn to talk. I don't understand, and I was saying this on Twitter the other day when you were talking about, I was trying to tweet your March Madness thing or whatever, but Thor's got magic, Superman's apparently has a weakness for magic, but like how are we applying the magic to Superman? Because you can't just be Thor, who's existing with magic, and think that that's going to do something to Superman. Like, he can't just exist in a magical state. Like, he needs to do Superman in some form. So I don't understand what form that takes.
So okay, so here's my thing, right? Thor and the Nine Realms was created by Odin. Odin is magic, so therefore magic courses through his veins. On top of that, he is the god of thunder, right? And his ability to summon thunder, there is also magic, which also means that his thunder probably is magic as well. Which means that a couple lightning bolt shots to Superman. Look, I'm not saying it's going to not floor him, because I think it would. I think that it would floor Superman, but it's not going to take him out completely. But I'm thinking that this fight is going to be more of a mano a mano, like knockdown, drag out battle than what people are saying. What you in particular and Carrie in particular are saying. So.
I've never said that Superman would just annihilate Thor like one punch, he's out. It's not even a fight. But I think y'all are giving Thor too much credit with his magic.
He's
determined on an episode of PREVIEWSworld Weekly that Superman could absolutely wield the hammers.
Yes, we did, which I have never liked that, and I don't like that for a number of reasons. All respect to George Perez and Kurt Busiek, they did it in JLA Avengers, which was a fun story, but that was the moment. Even when I read that at the time, I was like, oh, that's BS. Like that's nonsense. That doesn't even make any sense. So look, but also, I mean, it happened. So I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny it. But I think that the fact that the hammer is magic means that Superman probably shouldn't be able to pick it up. It's an enchanted hammer. I'm just saying, like the hammer should be like, oh, this should be a little heavier for you than most people. But he just kind of like picked it up like it was like a toothbrush, and I'm like, and then hit Thor with it. Don't get me started. You know what, Johnny? It's time for Social Swamp. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I just realized the more I was talking, the more I was
Got
probably going to get
so
myself in
mad.
trouble with Twitter. Just tired of defending myself. No, I'm just kidding. Like, no, the more I was talking, the more I was like, I'm just asking to get actually'd on Twitter and Facebook because of these comments that I'm making right now. I just know it is. Someone's going to be like, well, actually, well, actually, well, actually. So never let it be said that nerds don't also, well, actually, male nerds, because they do too. They do it all the time. Anyway,
Okay, so
Ashton, what do
in
you want
this
to tell us
segment on
about our?
Social Swamp, Troy, because we're moving on.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. We asked you guys to tell us how you're staying entertained and filling your time during the quarantine. I'm counting on Johnny here to throw up the answers, and I will also read them off.
I got it.
Awesome.
Okay,
Damn, she got some
great.
nice ones.
So Paul Norton is making an Iron Man.
I mean, you know what? Actually, truthfully, I can't hate on that at all. Like, I think that's actually brilliant. That's a good
Right?
use of time. I mean, if everyone else is wearing face masks, right? But what's more secure than an Iron Man suit when you go grocery shopping?
It is the
The
ultimate
guy's smart.
victory.
That's all I'm saying. Ultimate victory. Shout out to Paul.
Stella, moving on. Right? Stella Nethercoat said she's on to volume 7 of The Sandman and can't help but notice our world currently feels like a few of the awe of the endless are playing with it.
I mean, she's probably right. I've already seen people, like, actually, I saw a meme the other day that said, people kicked off the year saying like, "Oh, this is the Roaring '20s. We're gonna kick it off like the '20s," and everybody's like, "Yeah, recession, disease, like yeah, that's more of what the '20s was actually about, not just like the Great Gatsby." So yeah, be careful what you ask for, guys. Maybe the endless ones are playing with us, but we'll get through it. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. Tia George said she's Calvin and Hobbes IRL.
I love this.
And Maura McGonagall said that things to do in quarantine, part 1.
Yeah, this is a great one too. I love the
Use your security
summon the
deposit.
elder gods. I would advise against that.
Right. Don't lose your security deposit.
No.
And then finally, Jen Ben said, thank you to Archie Comics for giving my kids something to get excited about. Which, yes, I co-sign. I too am excited about Archie Comics.
Oh, 100%, 100%. No, I love that. I think that that's yeah, I guess she was able to sneak off to her comic shop at the 0 hour and kind of like feed her kids something to occupy them with. So, because I know a lot of here in Maryland, parents just found out that that kids aren't going back to school until April, and you could feel an audible gasp from every parent in Maryland. Because I think they're also stuck with teaching their kids homework here. So it's sort of like, glad I don't have kids. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Johnny.
Some of us do. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate that.
Oh.
Sorry, Johnny. Sorry. We apologize. That's Johnny Rose, by the way, guys. He's our editor. He's doing great. He's operating the wheels of steel. And he's in HD. Like he looks like super crystal clear. Anyway. Ashton,
He
what's
does.
going on
I'm
in your world of
pixelated like
comics and
crazy right
quarantine?
now.
He's just got the top-notch equipment.
Okay, so two things. First of all, our good friend, something like that, I guess. Okay, so two things. Chase Merriman just jumped in the chat, who is one of our loyal viewers. He watches and like comments with us every week, so I wanted to give him a shout out. Finally showed up. He said he was able to get comics, which is exciting.
Oh, cool, nice. No, good job, good job. Like, yeah, it's
And
it
in my
from state
comics
to
and
state. Like I saw.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I just like it's different from state to state. I want to reiterate that. Like, not every state has done a complete and total shutdown. Some states are open. It's just that in our state, Maryland, we are on shutdown right now. We're on lockdown right now. I'm sorry, Ashton. Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, I do think that's an important point to keep making, and also like folks doing curbside pickup ads. And then also, I know publishers are doing some things to get comics to people, so that sort of defeats the purpose of your local comic shop. Anyway, I'm using my time. I need to start watching Sabrina season 3, which I haven't seen, and I feel like as an Archie stan, I've dropped the ball on my duties as like obsessive fangirl. So I need to watch Archie or Sabrina season 3.
Okay. Actually, I just started watching the second season of Altered Carbon. I'm so lost though. It's like you can't really have such a long lull between episodes between the season because like I was like, geez, now I need to watch the first season all over again. You know what else I started watching? I started watching Community, which I gotta say is a look. I'm not a big fan of The Big Bang Theory, but Community is a nerd show for nerds if there ever was one. Like I actually would much rather that have the crown than Big Bang Theory. I just have so many references. An entire episode of Community directed by Justin Lin, who did the Fast and the Furious movies, but he's basically and it's produced by the Russo brothers actually. But it's great, but they did a great episode where like basically it was just a big paintball fight, but they dropped every action movie reference they possibly could in 30 minutes. If you haven't watched Community, watch Community. I know I'm not supposed to be talking about TV shows right now, but I just want to throw that out there. Actually, Ilya Schroeder over here says sides with you, Ashton.
I
She
mean, it's
says
worth
he
watching.
says is it he or she? Is it he or she? I'm sorry, Ilya. Ilya says that Superman would win in a fight between Thor and Superman. So my bad. Oh, Ilya. Okay. Hey, Ilya.
Wait, did he say
How's
why?
it going?
Or was he just like
he just said why. I just realized who Ilya was. My bad. Sorry.
Troy, why are you waving at the computer? You can wave at the camera directly in front of you.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Sorry. My bad. What's up, Ilya? My bad. Sorry for misidentifying your gender. We definitely know what gender you are. Um, anyway. Yeah, so like we basically did the prompt for comics in quarantine, and a lot of people are still, mostly on Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of people diving into that and having the conversation with that. And I want to like just push people to continue doing that because like we want to keep the conversation around comics. We want to help you maintain your sanity during this bizarre period in time. You know, a lot of there's a lot of I won't even say negative, but just very stressful news coming out of the news. I mean, and that's just the way it is. And we try to like kick off comics in quarantine just to kind of get the conversation going. And thank you to Leah Williams, and also thank you to the comic shops that have jumped in and used that hashtag as well, because it has helped boost the signal on that hashtag. And we just want to kind of keep the conversation around comics. You know, just kind of have our little silo of conversation where we can get away from you know, the stresses of what's going on with COVID-19. Actually, you know what? Also want to point out that Albert Uderzo, who was the co-creator of Asterix and Tintin, I'm sorry, Asterix and Tintin, Asterix and Obelix. He recently passed away, and I did want to give him a shout out because that news dropped yesterday. And while I have never really read an Asterix comic, I can tell you from working at a comic shop that there is a slew of kids who grew up on that who are probably adults now. Asterix is probably in the same category as Bone and Calvin and Hobbes in terms of being a great gateway for comic book readers. So I didn't want to do a show without acknowledging his passing. And I guess that's it. Like we're definitely over the 30-minute mark, which we said we wouldn't do. So we're just gonna start wrapping up now. Hi, hey Ilya. He said hi in the chat. So I want to do a comic shop shout out. Ashton, who is our comic shop shout out this week?
I would also like to do a comic shop shout out, and I hope that Johnny can pull up the graphic because my computer won't load it.
Oh, okay.
Give me 1 second.
Sorry, Johnny. I was
Meanwhile,
trying
just
to do
marvel
it
at
while
that
Troy
spinner
was
rack.
talking about asteroids.
Look at that. Look at that spinner rack, guys.
My
That's super
computer was
official
like,
right there. Just
Troy,
saying.
not everything is about the spinner rack. Get out of here.
Everything. The spinner rack is everything. I didn't even.
Okay. Got it.
Got it. Okay, so we're doing comic shop shout out.
Nailed it. Yeah,
Wrong one.
that is
Wrong
not
one.
it, Johnny.
That is not it.
Hey, you know what? This is what happens
There
when
we
things are
go.
live.
And this is actually from Legends, Comics, and Coffee, which I've said this before about comics and coffee. I want a comics and coffee shop in Maryland. And they said, strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he? And it's just this perfect show, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, I couldn't let that go without acknowledging it. No one even gave us that comic shop shout out. It was just, of course, I've been on social media nonstop the last couple of days, and I saw that, and I was like, you know what? For that, you deserve a comic shop shout out, Legend. So shout out to them. I think they have a drive-through too, which is nice. They have a little drive-through that they been handing people off comics and doing transactions with. So shout out to them, and we're gonna leave you guys with that. But Ashton, anything else you want to say before we close out?
This felt like a prompt. I would like to say support your local comic shop, and I would also like to let everybody know that Troy just learned how to properly tie his shoes last week.
Oh, geez. Okay, this is a whole nother conversation. Apparently, there's a right way to tie your shoes and a wrong way to tie your shoes, and like apparently Ashton has been like had blew the whole like put the rabbit in the hole method that I've been doing for decades out the water, and apparently there's like a more adult way of doing it. So. But no more.
I wouldn't say there's a more adult way.
We've run out of time. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We gotta go. Like I think we've already dropped one curse word. I think that like we've probably got a few people back at the home office pulling their hair out right now. So, yeah, that's it for this week's Previews World Weekly. Actually, someone saying, "How is quarantine, guys?" Hey, it's okay. It's not bad. I'm trying to get into the swing of things and actually getting used to this weird new schedule where I don't have to put on pants to leave work. I wore pants today though. Okay. Anyway.
Proud of you.
Ashton, did you wear pants today, Ashton?
I remembered to wear pants today. Thanks.
Okay, good. I can't say anything. I can't say the same for our live chat, but thank you very much for joining us, guys. This has been Previews World Weekly. We will try this again next week. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
All right, there you go. And you gotta love the delay. And we will see you guys. See you.
I hate you, Troy.